There you go. So on task 7, again, I said we're marking off every problem that says x-intercept, but we're doing the exact same thing that we just did on the linear equation in context. It says for each of these situations, you are going to determine the slope, the y-intercept, along with each of their meanings in the real world when applicable. Again, we're not doing this part, so you can mark this off. Each of our equations should be written in the form most appropriate for the information provided, which means even though it's y equals mx plus b, use the letters that they're giving you in the problem. I'll show you what I'm talking about. First one is super easy because it's talking about something that you can relate to. It says Jill is going to go on a trip and she fills up her 19-gallon tank. She estimates that it will use about 3 gallons per hour. Use about 3 gallons. Use means it's going to be decreasing. Write an equation to model the amount of gasoline, and we're going to use G to represent gasoline, remaining in her tank after T hours. So the equation part's down here. And we can jump to the equation first, or we can take the parts and identify them first. It doesn't matter to me. But what it says is we're trying to model the amount of gasoline, G. So that means I know my equation is going to have a G equals. So start with the slope. Remember, my slope is my rate. So what my rate is I heard it 3, but since it's going downward, we're going to say that it's -3. Now, what does this mean in this word problem? There you go. It means the gallons per hour, and y'all got to put this thing on here, used. You have to say something about the fact that it's being used. Gallons per hour that's being used. The y-intercept, again, this is where I start. It's my starting point. Yes, it's 19. And what does that represent? Say again? The full tank. Yes, I love it. Who said full tank? Okay, it represents the full tank. It represents how much she put in the tank. Either one of those will work for me because she's filling up, so that means it's a full tank. I got 19 on here, and so the real work meaning is the full tank, or you can say amount she filled it up or something like that. Amount she fills, or even the amount that it holds, something along those lines. So if I'm using the letters given here to write my equation, if it helps, you can start by writing it in y equals mx plus b and then translate it down here. Because you know it's going to be y equals your slope, which is -3, times your x, plus the 19 gallons it starts with. But the only thing I'm asking you to do is use the letters they're giving you here, meaning the G for gasoline and T for hours. So it's going to be G equals, what do you think? Thank you. It's going to equal -3, and we're using T for hours. And then that is plus 19 that she starts off with. Now, was that difficult? You have 2 questions that are going to give you all of these components. And I think I even added on there that you're going to have to tell me what is the independent, what is the dependent, what is the x value, what is the y value. So it's going to be a lot of you reasoning the real context of each word problem. All right, so the next one's not as easy because they don't give you the rate right off the bat. But we've been doing a lot of practice problems like this where you're having to find the rate, find the slope, okay? Roberto deposits the same amount of money each month into a checking account. Use the table to write an equation to model his balance B after M months. So we know we're going to use the balance B after M months, which means I'm going to have to find the rate per month and then the starting balance down here. I don't know why I jumped to that. Maybe I could have just started with the rest of it, but let me slow down talking. Slow. That's our rate. Y-intercept is where he starts. How do I find the slope? Mhm. You said what?
When you see how much she puts in for the first one.
Correct. You would. Well, see, considering we know what he does from month 1 to month 3, let's start with that. So, how much is he putting in from month 1 to month 3? You could just use ordered pairs. Think about it like this: when we do slope, there's a formula: y2, y1, and then when we subtract and divide, that gives us our rate. If you don't need to do this to find the slope, then that's fine. If you can find the slope without doing this, that's fine. But for those of you who don't know where to start, this is where I'm helping you. Start with the numbers from the table and find the slope. So I'm going to have 365, I'm going to write it right here, minus 255 divided by 3 minus 1. Hey, did you have this paper? Lord have mercy, you got them all. All right, so anybody do it this way, like this with me?
It's 55.
I mean, the number that was on the top? Yeah, I was just,
110.
Should be 110. I don't know if you guys are doing the same numbers I was using, but 365 minus 255 is 110. And when you divide it by 2, that is 55, which is the answer she was giving for the final amount. So the slope is $55. Is this going to be a positive or a negative slope? Wow. Thank you. So what does this mean? Tell me in words. What does this mean? What does 55 represent? The amount he deposits. Per month, I'll just write a slash. So the Reiner step is where he starts. How much does he start with in his account, though? 200. Good job. How'd you know that? You did it a different way? So then how'd you figure out that it was 200, though?
I started with 6 and I divided by. I had started dividing first. I didn't.
So, but I was just trying to figure out how you get the Y intercept the way you did.
How did I get my answer?
The Y intercept, this part right here, 200. I mean, so you got the right answer.
I did 6. I worked out my equation 6 and 530. When I got there, I just multiplied the time. See if I got the same answer.
Oh, okay. All I did was I subtracted 55. Did y'all see that? You could have taken, see, right after the first month, he's at 255. So that means if he's at 255 after 1 month, take it away. And that's what he started with, is 200. And what does that represent? That represents his beginning balance. Oh, I started it up with the B equals. So what do I put next to the M? 55 plus 200. All right, number 3 starts on the bottom, but then you move a little bit over, which is kind of odd. It says let F be the function that assigns to a temperature in degrees Celsius its equivalent in degrees. Let F, let me read that again while you're looking at this right here. Let F be the function that assigns to a temperature in degrees Celsius its equivalent degree, equivalent in degrees, I meant to say, in Fahrenheit. The freezing point of water in degrees Celsius is 0, while in Fahrenheit it's 32. Y'all didn't know that, right? I did, okay. The boiling point of water is 100 degrees in Celsius, but in Fahrenheit it's 212. So given that this is a linear function, we should be able to find the constant rate between the two. And then we can find the slope, the y-intercept, all of that. Could you tell me, please, how you're going to find the rate between the two? There you go. Do you have to do it this way? Is this the only way? Nope. There's always more than one way, typically, in math to solve a problem. But if you do this method here, then what this will do is take what you have in the sentences, where is it, 0 and then 32. That's like an ordered pair. So it would be 0, 32, and then 100 and 212. This is important that we know how to do this because there's a question on your test like this, and we really hadn't practiced this very much. So go ahead and find your rate using this. Give you a minute to calculate that. I'm gonna have to catch you up. Okay. Can y'all tell me what you find? You could tell me like a fraction or a decimal. Okay, good deal. If you do it as a decimal, it is 1.8. There you go. Or this as a fraction. All right, this is my slope. What does this represent in this context of the question? Think about this. When you say the rate, I don't want to say that that's vague because it's kind of vague. We know that it's going to be the rate. The rate of what? That's what I want you to say. The difference between the increase from Fahrenheit to Celsius. So it represents the, there we go, rate of increase from Celsius to the Fahrenheit. So basically what it's saying is for every 1 degree in Celsius, it's raising 1.8 degrees in Fahrenheit. That's why our Fahrenheit degrees are higher than Celsius degrees. The y-intercept, from where are we starting? Good job. How did you know it was 32? Oops, I wrote 35, my bad.
That's what Fahrenheit starts at.
Fahrenheit starts at 32, but the Celsius is at 0. So tell you right there, this is our starting point. Oh, I need to write that there. What does that mean? It means this is the temperature of freezing for Fahrenheit. In Fahrenheit. And what letters is it telling us to use? Write an equation for F. Okay, good. So write an equation for F. And what are we using? Are we using the letter C? As a function. F be the temperature in degrees Celsius and its equivalent degrees Fahrenheit. So it's going to be, we could say 1.8. What is it multiplied though? C, there we go, plus the 32. Or if you've taken chemistry, I'm just curious, do you remember seeing this here formula for converting between the two? No? You just memorized this. It's been a while. You probably want to get that memory out your brain. But yeah, this is basically just saying, okay, I'm starting at 32 degrees in Fahrenheit, but to get where I need to go in Celsius, I'm increasing the Celsius by 1.8 for each degree in Fahrenheit. And now let's do the last one together before I let you do the others on your own. Number 4, at the beginning of October, Monique changed bank accounts and decided to leave the remaining $3,900 in her old checking account to pay for rent. So after 6 months, her balance was finally zero. If the balance B in her account is a function of time t, write an equation for the situation. All right, I want you to think about this for a second, and I'm just going to write the keywords down here while you think. Oh, you mean folders? I think I passed the quiz, but you didn't take the quiz though. So you wouldn't have anything in there. Okay, what did you get for the rate? Good job for remembering that it's gotta be negative. Oops. And why is it negative, y'all? And that's how much money she's taking out. And that's actually the real world meaning that I'm gonna write on here. Oh, wait a minute, how did y'all find the 650? Because it doesn't tell you that. You had to do what? Good job. I forgot to write that on. You can take this and divide by the 6 months. So this represents the amount withdrawn. I'm going to be real forgiving on your test. As long as I know that you know what you're talking about when I ask for the real world meaning, then I'm going to be good. Like, as long as you don't say the rate. If you just say the rate per month, I'm not giving you credit for that because I know that slope is rate. Do not just say rate. Give it to me what it means in this problem, which is the rate that she's taking money out. I mean, there's something about withdrawing or taking out money. What's my y intercept? Thank you. And what does this represent? Okay, so if you want to say the remaining in her old account, I'll take that. You can say that. You can say the remaining in her old account, or you can say the, yeah, it's the remaining. Let's say that, the remaining. Remaining in old account. I like that. And the remaining in old account. What is wrong with my brain today? And so the equation is balance equals what? I heard somebody say, good job. But you gotta use the letter T and then plus the 3,900 that she left over in the account to start with. Is this making a little bit more sense?
Little.
I love it. It's just a little. So there's one last one. I'd like for you to try that one on your own. Looking like that. Oh my gosh.